Without a doubt, one of the most mentioned locations for visiting in Flight Simulator 2020 is North Korea. There's likely many reasons for this, which will certainly include curiosity, as well as the belief that North Korea isn't as widely mapped as many other places in the world. So, what does this country look like in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator? Well, let's find out. The most well-known city in North Korea is of course Pyongyang. It's a location that is open to tourists after a fashion, but it's also not a location that most people get to fly over in a private plane. Well, that changes in this video. At a size of 2,000 square kilometers, Pyongyang is a good bit larger than London, which is around 1,500 square kilometers. For that reason, I won't be flying over the entirety of the city. What I do want to do though is take a look at a very well-known stadium. Flight Simulator 2020 has captured this perfectly. Rongrado Mayday Stadium, situated on a river island in the city, has a capacity for over 150,000 people, making it the largest seated capacity stadium in the world. It's actually very well depicted here in the sim and looks very close to the real thing. Definitely one of the sim's handcrafted landmarks then. The rest of the city relies on Flight Simulator's autogen technology, and this means that the sim is basically populating the city with buildings based upon what it believes should be there. It uses satellite imagery and other data sources to do this. The results are very convincing, and whilst they might not be 100% accurate to the real location, they nonetheless will have most people believing they are flying over a real city, and that really is the entire point. The graphics, of course, are amazing, as with everywhere else. Now, for a capital city, Pyongyang isn't that densely packed with buildings, at least not compared to other cities in the sim, and yet this does seem to be very reflective of available satellite imagery of the area too, although most of that is pretty low resolution. But in fact, you really don't need to fly all that far before you start finding sparse green areas, farms, and eventually open expanse. We'll have a closer look at cities, both autogen and photogrammetry, in another video, but for now I'm going to move outside of Pyongyang and into the countryside. Before we get to that though, we want to navigate to an airfield or an airport, and that's very easy. In this particular plane we've got the G1000 here, which is an extremely comprehensive real-world navigation system, and we can click an option here, nearest airport. We're then going to go over here and confirm that. Sorry you can't see the cursor, I seem to have not captured that. And you can see we've got a purple arrow there on the compass, which is telling us the direction to fly in. Now we can manually fly to that location if that's what you want, and that's what I usually do. But as I want to capture some footage here and have a good look around, we're going to use the autopilot, and yeah, we just click on the autopilot navigation button there and off we go. The plane will completely fly itself at this point, although it's not capable of landing. We're going to have to manually do that. Now, landscapes of all types really are an area where the new Microsoft Flight Simulator shines. Over the months that I've been playing the title, I've visited deserts, vast snowy regions, forests, mountains, and just about everywhere else you can think of. The one consistent across all of these diverse locations is that every single one of them never fails to impress. And the same is true for the visuals right here. As many other people have stated, it does look truly next-gen. So the airport I'm heading to isn't too far out of the way at just 15 nautical miles, but also a small airport with a single runway. The navigation system really can help with orientating yourself to the airport. However, there's also many other resources available that will help you with locating just about anything. Many of these are in the game, such as with the G1000 we looked at just a moment ago, but also an in-game VFR map, as well as the world map available from the main menu. What's more, Flight Simulator 2020 is so accurate that you can use real-world navigation maps to help you find your way around and plan your routes if you so desire. Now, this footage was captured very late last night, or early in the morning in fact. I was up at 3:30 AM, so this is far from my best landing. But there will be many more. Some of them are going to be worse, no doubt, but hopefully most of them will be quite a bit better. Coming a little bit low here, a little bit too much nose down, and I drift over the runway for a little bit too long before finally touching down fairly gently, but a little later than I actually wanted. And not ideal because this runway is quite short, but fortunately the stopping distance for the Cessna 172 is fairly short. So here we are then, a remote runway out in the middle somewhere of North Korea. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.